Love Your Melon has supported World Child Cancer since 2019. To date, we have helped over 2,000 children and families across Ghana, Cameroon, and Malawi. This year's funding is going to help approximately 228 children and their families across all of the different regions that World Child Cancer serves. So that can be anything from transportation to accommodation to some of those psychological support features.
In the countries where we work, there's actually can be a real lack of awareness of childhood cancer, to the point where there's quite a large number of people who don't actually believe that children can, or understand that children can actually get cancer. There's also less training for healthcare professionals in seeing the early warning signs and diagnosing childhood cancer. In the countries where we're working, children are getting to the hospital a lot later than they would in the US or in the UK. Having a child with cancer is hugely expensive, and this can be a huge barrier. Some families might bring their child to the hospital for treatment, but then once they're told about how much it's going to cost, they simply do not have the money. So they then have to return to their home, and then obviously their child has no chance of survival because they're not receiving the treatment that they must have. Families who are experiencing this are going through probably one of the most difficult and painful experiences of their lives, and they're thrown into a situation which is completely unknown to them, and a situation which they have very little control over. So the emotional impact and the impact on their mental health and well-being is absolutely huge. Some situations, one if not two parents will have to give up their work so that they can care for their child and be at the hospital, and that can obviously cause a lot of stress too. So there's just all the financial impact really does have a big impact on the emotional health and well-being of families. Another thing that really impacts on the mental health is a lack of access to information about childhood cancer. There's a huge fear of the unknown. They can feel very lonely, they're away from their friends, they're away from their siblings, and they're away from school. They can feel very confused by all the mixed messages that they're getting from parents, from other children on the ward, from the staff. Children can feel very angry and frustrated that life is so different and they just want to be living like other children. And obviously they can feel a lot of sadness about their situation, and guilt also, actually, that they feel like they're causing their parents of added stress. Family support officers in some of our programs, and they are absolutely incredible. They will provide financial support to families, but they also provide the emotional, practical and information support to families. And they'll also run parent support groups, which is just amazing. It brings parents together, and there's a lot of peer support and sharing of information that can happen in that setting. We also have child life specialists, so they're there to support the child, but also the parents. But really important part of their work when working with children with cancer is to familiarise children with what treatment they're going through, prepare them for painful procedures, and they will also go into the procedure room with children and distract them and give them comfort whilst they're going through what might be quite difficult procedures.